Mike Tomlin calls out his former wide receiver, Dionate Johnson, for now being with the Ravens, but being underutilized. And also, wide receiver Mike Williams, after his first touchdown with the Steelers, takes a slick shot at his former QB of the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. But first, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, at Mike Tomlin's press conference today, he was talking about this upcoming game against the Baltimore Ravens. And you know he had to be asked about his former receiver, Dionate Johnson, especially how it ended. It ended with a narrative around Dionate Johnson that he was getting out of line in the locker room and on the field, kind of throwing a fit. And then he was traded to the Carolina Panthers this offseason for Dante Jackson. So that's how it ended. So Mike Tomlin was asked about him and this Ravens offense, and this is what he said. Many people kind of interpreted his sentence as him taking a shot at Dionate Johnson, but when you really break it down, in my opinion, I don't think that's the case. Anyways, here's what he said about Dionate Johnson now being on the Ravens. Here's his quote. "To be honest with you, I hadn't thought a lot about it. He's not a lot of their video, and so at this stage of the week, I don't know that I've weighed what he might mean to the matchup. They got more significant pieces with larger roles that are occupying my attention at this part of the week." End quote. So, many people took this one of two ways. Hey, you could take it as Mike Tomlin throwing a little jab at Dionate Johnson, saying, hey, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You were complaining with us, you wanted more targets, you wanted more receptions, you want to be a part of the game plan more. And you were. With us, you were a part of our game plan and what we're doing. But now, since you left us, you are not. You're not being a part of the Ravens game plan at all. They are not playing you. They're not throwing you targets. They're not throwing you receptions. So you're not even on our mind in terms of what we have to defend come Sunday. So that could be a little jab at Dionate Johnson, and some people took it that way. But on the other part, you could take it this way. Dionate Johnson has barely been utilized. So it kind of makes sense why Mike Tomlin wouldn't kind of focus in on a matchup with the cornerbacks with Dionate Johnson. I believe he only has one catch in his first 2 games and has just barely even played, barely been on the field. So it makes sense why Mike Tomlin wouldn't kind of tone in on a Dionate Johnson matchup. And there is bigger people in terms of roles on the team. You look at Zay Flowers, you look at Bateman at wide receiver. Those 2 guys are ahead of Dionate Johnson on the depth chart and will be. And more than likely will be on the field way more than Dionate Johnson. And you look at Mark Andrews, look at Isaiah Likely, you look at Derrick Henry, you look at Justice Hill. Those players have a bigger part in the Ravens offense as of right now, this week's game, than Dionate Johnson has. So if you tone in and focus on Dionate Johnson, then why would you focus on him? He's barely even being utilized, and there's other guys who are major pieces actually being utilized. So it makes sense where Mike Tomlin is coming from, and in my opinion, I took it that way. I didn't take it as a jab at Dionate Johnson, but I know many people did on social media this morning. Also, one last thing before I move on to the Mike Williams topic about Aaron Rodgers and kind of taking a slick shot at him. Dionate Johnson, he was kind of benched also in the Ravens game there this past week, because he caught a pass right before halftime. It was one of those passes, if you remember, in the Vikings game when the Steelers are trying to make that comeback with Ben Roethlisberger, where they're down like 20-something points, and then on the very final drive, right before Pat Freiermuth dropped that touchdown to tie the game, or at least before the 2-point conversion, which would have tied the game, when Dionate Johnson caught that little slant route and was trying to get out of bounds. And if he did get out of bounds, the game would have ended. But he ran all the way across the field and got out of bounds. So that was great on his part. They basically ran the exact same play. Threw a little dump-off pass over the middle of the field. And he had to get out of bounds to try to kick a field goal. But he was not able to. And after that, he was benched. So it wasn't really even his fault. But after that, a lot of people thought, hey, he did the wrong thing. He should have just went down, or he should have got out of bounds. No, it wasn't his fault, and many people took it like it was, and Ravens fans were talking bad about him on social media, and he was kind of benched after that. So like I said, the grass isn't always green on the other side, and Mike Tomlin's comments may kind of indicate that as well. Anyways, this is the most subtle jab you'll see Mike Tomlin take because it could be interpreted two ways. So it could really mean that he meant it both ways, but you just really know the way that he really meant it. Anyway, let's move over to Mike Williams because he pokes a little fun at Aaron Rodgers, taking a slick shot at him with a red line comment. So you look at Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and he called out receiver Mike Williams for running the wrong route in a loss to the Bills. Williams took the high road though and kind of just laughed it off and said, yeah, I basically did the wrong thing when he was asked about it in the press conference. But you look at Mike Williams after he made a stellar debut, catching a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown on one target for the Steelers. He took a little shot on an Instagram post celebrating his first game from the trade. And he put 3 hashtags. He put whole lotta, we back, and red line. The last one was a direct reference to Rodgers' criticism. He told reporters after the Monday night loss against Buffalo that Williams was supposed to be on the red line on the practice field 5 yards from the sideline. That contributed to the trust issue between Rodgers and Williams because he thought he ran the wrong route. But it was no surprise because Rodgers obviously he has history of not trusting receivers unless they fully and completely earn it and keep it. So Williams, he tried to gain his trust back. It just never worked. And then he ended up being traded. And what that red line means is you want to be too close to the sideline. But obviously, as we've seen on Mike Williams' game-winning touchdown, he wasn't 5 yards from the sideline. He was almost right on the sideline. And some people could say he ran the wrong route there. No, he just made a play. Sometimes you have to go and adjust your route based off of where the football is and based off how you're being covered. And even if you look at that interception that Aaron Rodgers threw against the Bills, he underthrew it by like 5 yards. Mike Williams had to stop completely. Could have easily scored a touchdown if it was just put right on him. But no, he had to turn all the way back, adjust to the football, and then he was unable to run back in time, and it was intercepted. So if anything, that was Aaron Rodgers' fault, but Aaron Rodgers just called him out, I guess just not putting the blame on himself and saying that he was supposed to be on the red line and that he had to Aaron Rodgers said that since he was on the red line, he adjusted his throw to make Mike Williams kind of adjust, but that just didn't make sense because he was open either way. But anyway, that Mike Williams, at the time, he took it as criticism. He took it as, hey, yeah, I did the wrong thing. He took the high road on it. But on his Instagram post this week after his touchdown with the Steelers, and he wasn't on the red line, he poked a little fun at Aaron Rodgers, having the red line hashtag in his post. So Mike Williams is really great that he's back in the NFL, is succeeding once again, because when he was with the Chargers, he was one of the top guys, him and Keenan Allen, top 2 guys, and now with the Steelers, he looks to be one of the top 2 guys as well, with George Pickens, Mike Williams at wide receiver. So if he continues to be able to make plays like he did on the game-winning touchdown, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a Super Bowl chance, because you can't take away George Pickens' deep threat if you have to worry about Mike Williams being a deep threat as well. So Mike Williams takes a little jab at Aaron Rodgers. Mike Tomlin takes a little jab at Dionate Johnson. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on both those guys and basically what they've did. And Mike Tomlin basically saying that thought. Do you believe it was the first way that you interpret it? Do you take it as him interpreting those comments as a little jab? Or do you take it like I think it could be that? But more than likely it's because there's other guys who have bigger impact on this team, and you're really not worried about Dionate Johnson when there's guys like Derrick Henry on the football field. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on that, and also Mike Williams' Instagram post having the red line hashtag after Aaron Rodgers calling him out on not being on the red line and running the wrong route. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis reports, everything covering Pittsburgh Steelers. I do it, all the rumors, all the controversy, and all the updates. I cover it. So Within the next few days, I'm going to give you a roster update. We've made some moves, signing players, releasing players, so stay tuned to the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and until next time, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.